Hello, scholars. We're going to work on the eye. We're going to do an eye study. How the eye has so many expressions, happy, sad, all emotions. Even the eyebrow has a way to help to express each emotion. Let's take a look at how to draw them together. As you had started with your face, you had the round oval shape for the head. It's always in an oval shape. We have the line of symmetry down the middle, and of course the line of symmetry across the middle, showing where the two eyes are located. All right, let's go back to our eyes. And let's take another piece of paper and let's go step by step of how to draw each one. Let's start with the normal shaped eye, just straightforward look. We're going to draw our line of symmetry, and then we're going to put half on the top and half at the bottom. It's pretty equally balanced when a person is just looking straight. The eyeball is fully round, even though it isn't seen between the two slits of the eyelid. So we're going to pretend that that full circle is behind the eyelids. Then we're going to draw the round part that represents the iris. And then we'll incorporate a round that represents where the pupil is. There's usually a light spot, so we're going to draw a couple of highlight spots. And let's darken the underside where our eyelashes will hit. We'll come back through on both of these sides again later, but let's make it a little darker so we can see. Let's start shading the iris. We're going to start dark, but not real totally dark, because sometimes this represents where the actual color of the eye is. So some eyes may be dark and then some might be a little lighter. So let's go kind of in between. But of course the pupil part is going to be dark. It's usually going to be a straight black. So I'm not going to color in my highlights where the light hits our eyes. When you look at someone, you see a white of their eyes. It's really the reflection of a light that might be in the room. So we're going to color around that. Do it nice and dark. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now we can redarken up the eyeliner area. We'll eventually put eyelashes in there. And then we have usually a little fold over the top of our eye, and it goes to the corner. And that's kind of a soft crease in our eye. Come down to the point and add a little tear duct. It's like an oval little shape at the inside of our eye. We also may have a little bit of a curved crease underneath our eye. Let's add a little eyelashes in there, and we do it in a flick motion, really fast, because it's usually dark at the end and then at the tip it's very, very thin. So let's show a little bit of eyelash, nice and soft. Make it darker or lighter according to what you want your person to look like. And the underside, the bottom lash, we're just going to darken that. We're not going to show the lashes, we're just going to darken it. All right, pretty good. Now let's take a look at our example again. The eyebrows on all of these really stand out to show emotion, so we need to put the eyebrow, and I'm going to draw it about full distance from the eye, like another eye right over top of it. And I'm going to put a nice curve. And what I like to do is draw the actual shape of what I want the eyebrow to lightly with my pencil before I start darkening it in, to make sure I like the curve and I have a guide of where I'm going to put the hairs in my eyebrow. It's usually darker towards the front, and then it fades out softer towards the back. All right, it's looking pretty good. All right, going to lighten a little bit in the front. Sometimes we have little soft hairs in the front. All right, now that's the eyebrows, the underside. We are going to put a little crease. If you look in the mirror, you can look. Sometimes the underside of your eye has a shadow line. And of course, from our eyebrow, we're going to shade down where our nose would be. I'm going to go back and darken where the iris is, because that is in shadow under our eyelash, and softly light over the white of the eye, just so it looks like it's in shadow. Very softly, so it looks like the whole eye goes under. Okay, pretty good for that one. Let's take a look at some other examples that we had. We have a surprise look, a sad look, happy look. All right, let's go to the next look. All right. Again, we need the round. Doing the surprise look, let's do a nice round. So this one almost has a full circle. So the line of symmetry, and we're going to do the whole eyeball. And then we're going to make it more round because the eye is wide open. So we're going to see more of the actual eyeball area. Add that teardrop back to our eyelash area, darken that in so we can see that a little darker, and then make sure it's nice and round and look like it's still behind our eyelids though. Okay, we just see more of it. So let's darken the underside as well. Pretty good. How's it coming with you? Okay, you can always stop the video and then recheck. Let's shade on the side. Remember we talked about the core that makes an object look round and more three-dimensional? All right, the eyeball itself, and then we have the iris and the pupil. So when a surprise look, you can pretty much see the entire iris and the pupil area in there. So we drew the whole round circle. Let's get a little bit of the underlid there, pulled up, darken it around a little bit more. We have the highlight in there, and now let's go back in and add the pupil around that area. Don't shade over the light spot in the eye. Leave a couple little dots so it looks like it's the light from the room reflecting into the eye. And then lightly color in what the eye color might be, which is different than the pupil. Darken that pupil really dark. All right, now can you start seeing? All right, the eyebrow also plays a big part. I'm going to start right with part, but it's also lifted up, more full round compared to our other one that we did. Trace out our shape and then begin to fill it in. As you notice, I try to do straight and up and down motions when I shade. It looks neater and cleaner. Looks more finished and controlled. So usually if you pick a direction, stay in that same direction. All right, how is he looking? Is this person looking really kind of surprised? Just going to darken that up a bit so it looks like the eye is sunk into the socket. And a little crease line underneath. Adding a little shadow even on the top, just like on the other one, it created that shadow underneath, and then the eyelashes. Again, a flick of the wrist, kind of just pulling it up. Now around the nose, nice and soft. Don't press too hard. You can always come back and darken. It's better that you do those strokes again the same direction. So, two different faces, one straight and one surprise. Let's see. Let's see which else Which one should we do? Sad. Looks like intensely gauged. Let's look at this one over here. This one kind of looks as if he's kind of sleepy. The eye is more squinched versus the surprise look where the eye is really wide. So let's give that a try. Again, that line of symmetry, nice and light, and then the eyelids half over the one top and half in the other. Now because they're tired and it's really a slit of an eye, so you're going to barely see the full round of the eyeball, just as if it's peeking out from underneath the eyelids. Do the iris there and the... Alright, let's darken the eyelid now that we've got the eye behind our two original circles, the pupil and the iris. Darken our eyelids. Put little creases on the side because oftentimes when people get tired, you can see it in the corner of their eyes. Darken up the underside. Alright, let's go back in. You're not going to see much of a highlight because that eye is so small, but we can start darkening in the pupil. Nice and dark. Alright, and a little bit of color for the iris. Alright, now, again, this part where there's a lot of details, there's more wrinkles when a person is tired. So let's add some more creases into the eye, and they have a little bit more dips and of an S shape and shadows. So we're going to darken in a shadow right by the eye duct, creases under the eyes. You might have heavier bags under the eyes if you're tired. Put a little bit of eyelashes in there. The same method, just flick upward. All right. Let's put that crease on that top. And I notice I pulled a little bit of curve in the front part too. But the squinty of the eye really shows that. I'm going to darken in so it looks like it's underneath the shadow of the eyelid. Eye duct in there just a little bit more. So that looked pretty sleepy. All right, that's a good shot there. All right, let's move around. And what other one can we look at? Oh, that one looks kind of angry. Tell by the eyebrow. So, same method. I hope you can start getting the hang of it. They're basic steps. First, we do the line of symmetry. Then the curve of the eyelid on the person that's more angry. The line of symmetry is there, but the eyelid is going to have a nice dip, kind of the furrow of the eyebrow. We want to put that in the eye as well. So half on top, and half at the bottom. But that S shape towards the eye, front of the eye, is what's going to make it look as if it's not very happy. Next, of course, is the iris and the pupil. A lot of times when someone is a little upset, you can barely see their pupil. Okay, on this one, let's show him really with that the furrow of his brow covering part of his pupil. Lightly shade in the iris part. Okay. Can you almost just see it with just that long sweeping S shape? Kind of can tell the expression that we're going to head towards. We're going to shade underneath it so it can really pick up. Darken both sides of it. Shade in. All right. Now, let's put some more little eyelashes in there. Nice job. All right, then we're going to put the lines. Notice I kicked out a little bit where that brow steps out a little bit. Put the eye duct and more creases inside of the underside of the eye, keeping that so it looks like a little ball there. Okay, now that eyebrow, that's going to be the deciding factor in there. Boy, really angry. So we want to follow that same S-shaped line, hard line across, dipping in really hard. Okay, and then it also curls up on the ends in that shape. Let's darken that into that S sort of shape. All right, pretty good, nice and dark. And sometimes you get some dips. See that? I put like a little U curve in there. That just shows in the facial part of our forehead, it's also crinkled up too. Our whole face kind of scrunches up, so we want to show a little soft lines in there to represent how our face, even around our nose, has kind of curves in it to help create that not so happy expression. Shade softly. You can always come back and darken it up. Straight, surprise, tired. Oh, we forgot the eyebrow. The eyebrow on this one is kind of soft. It's drooping just like the eye. Very, very tired. The whole face is kind of tired. Whereas this one, the brow is more curved. All right, so we have 4 expressions there. Pretty good. Let's now look at one more. Let's see what we should do. Okay, this one looks kind of distressed and kind of sad. So let's try that emotion as well. It's a little bit of a combination of the frown of the one that's upset and kind of a tired look. But still, the format is still the same. Line of symmetry. Now this one, as you notice, I'm kind of make a mountainy shape on the top of it. And then my curved bottom one. So it's a combination of the tired one and also the angry. So it's just a deep expression. So let's put that kind of a curve in there for the top of our eye. And put our pupil in. Pretty good. Pupil and the iris, those both in. Put our little highlight in there as we start shading it, but let's darken the pupil first, skipping around the highlighted area, the reflection in the eye. Kind of dark as you can. Trying to use a regular pencil so you can use the same steps. We can always come back and darken it, and then if you wanted to go back and add pen later, but the steps are still the same. With a pencil, it's easy to get some soft shading. So we're going to shade in the iris. Notice sometimes I make it dark on one side and then lighten it up on the other side, so it makes it look rounder. Okay. We're going to shade so we can tell that it's underneath the eyelid. Put that teardrop in there. Okay, again, the eyebrow really pronouncing it in the creases around the eye really helps identify what type of mood we are trying to project. Okay. Again, like those two combinations, we're going to make it follow a downward slope as if it's tired, but then we're going to put a little bit of a curve in the front part of it, very much so like the one that was frowning. The brows have that expression. So again, shade dark in the beginning and then lighten up. Put a little creases underneath, around the nose, soft one direction shading, straight down the side. All right, so I think we have accomplished a straight face, surprise, ooh, tired, angry, not so happy, and also this one that it's kind of sad. Shade that a little bit darker. All right, scholars, I'd like for you to try, and we will come back and revisit some of this again. Thank you so much. I'm sure you're going to do amazing. Then you'll be able to put it on your face. Hope you have a great rest of the day.